Hello, this is Crystal Racing here with a race review and a crystal score for the 2020 Belgian Grand Prix. And I think a lot of people have misunderstood this weekend. It's this. Nobody noticed that in the regulations that in order to win the World Championship for both the drivers and constructors, the aim is to finish last. That's right, folks. Ferrari, as much as we've been having a go at them, have actually realised something that only Haas, Alfa Romeo and Williams have worked out. The aim is to finish last in the World Championship. The aim is to not score any points. You see, that SF1000 out there wasn't actually a Formula 1 car, it was a Fiat Panda in disguise. You know? Think. I mean, this is the most successful team in F1 history, folks. Why would they deliberately go so slow? Think about it. Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton, they're actually doing the completely wrong thing. They're actually the worst team on the grid if you think about it. And Max Verstappen doesn't seem to have got the message, does he? He doesn't seem to realise that you're not supposed to chase Lewis Hamilton in the front. You're supposed to finish towards the back. I don't think anyone's realised this. This is 4D chess going on here. Oh, man. You know what? I don't even know what to say about Formula 1 anymore. It was a very 2020 F1 Grand Prix, wasn't it? It was the most ridiculously predictable race. It was literally almost as if Formula 1 had become a parody of itself. Lewis Hamilton wins. Valtteri Bottas finished second. It's going to be like this for the rest of this year in 2021. Nothing's changing. And I'm going to actually do this video to announce this now. I am no longer doing driver scores anymore. I cannot be bothered. I do not think it's even appropriate to compare driver performances this year, because what we are seeing is just, such huge gaps in between the teams now. The top three drivers, but of course Alex Albon is really struggling. The top 1.5 teams are miles in front. I mean, after 10 laps, after the safety car restart, Daniel Ricciardo was already 4 corners behind them. Not much to say, really. But I think the real big news headline was just how awful Ferrari were. Half a second slower than Alfa Romeo in the race simulations during practice. I absolutely burst out in laughter. That team, their problems is no longer just the power unit being so weak now. Their car isn't good enough for some reason. And Matteo Binotto described the situation as being a storm rather than a crisis. Well, I've got this to say. A storm is kind of a crisis, especially if it's going to become a typhoon, because right now, I would not be surprised if Maranello in Italy is flooded right now. Flooded with angry tifosi, absolutely banging into the team factory like the Barcelona fans are right now in Spain or Catalonia, depending on what you think that place is. Just, oh my goodness me. Just, the team is now beyond an utter joke. I think we've all covered it now. There is nothing else for me to say, but biggest though, Kimi Räikkönen beat them. And he said after the race that, well, he didn't get any joy from beating it. Well, that's the most sad thing about it. Ferrari are so bad that they're not even worth a damn getting all happy about beating him in a straight fight, because within just 18 months, well, not 18 months, probably just less than a calendar year, if we're going to be honest, they've gone from a team that were winning races to now fighting the back three. And look, the reason why everyone getting angry about Ferrari is such a thing is because they are the only team with a budget and the resources to fight Mercedes at this point in time. And, you know, Red Bull, they've got a bit of a... We all know how that team is run. They have a lead driver and then they have a junior driver, along with having to shove money into their junior team, AlphaTauri. We know there's only like a certain limit they can really reach in terms of potential, in terms of being able to fight for the front. You know, they're going to be always relying on another engine manufacturer to provide them engines because, of course, they're not a factory team like Mercedes, Renault, and Ferrari. They're always going to be relying on someone like Honda to provide them engines. And they are very much in the amount of money spent on their junior program. They kind of need to have to shove a junior driver alongside Max Verstappen in order to pay off the money they funnel into their junior program. I'm completely lost, really. You know, driver of the day, Daniel Ricciardo, in my opinion. But of course, Pierre Gasly won the award. Very well deserved, considering this is a year since the death of Antoine Hubert. R.I.P. Of course, today's the first anniversary of his death. Rest in peace and all that. You know, I can remember very well what it was like when Antoine Hubert had his accident. You know, people said, you know, we were going to have a pact not to argue, and then they started arguing anyway on Twitter. Kind of a lost cause, the F1 community at this point, but, you know, as for the Formula 2 races, Yuki Tsunoda won. That's going to put Danny Crivel on real short shrift for his seat next year. I mean, if Yuki Tsunoda can finish in the top 4 and get the super license point needed, he's going to be an F1 next year. And let's be honest, he's actually been a very, very, very good in his short time in Europe. I mean, yes, he might not be the full package yet, but he does actually look like F1 material. This is not because of, you know, and he'll actually get to Formula 1 on merit. Yes, I know he's had a lot of help from Honda and Red Bull, but I think he actually deserves it. And as for Giovinazzi, when he crashed down, Schwartzman and Mick Schumacher finished 1-2. Giovinazzi's got his head on a chopping block as well. I don't really see much hope for him next year, staying on in F1 next year. And that's all I've got to say, really. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next time.